How you guys doing? This is Mech of the Suplex Sports Podcast. I just want to go ahead and send out an apology. I'm one of many to apologize to Algerian boxer Amain Khalif for mistakenly thinking that she was of the other gender. I just believe in equality in sports. Did not mean to offend anybody in any way, shape, or form. And certainly not to bring in any type of religious or anything like that to the equation. I did see a comment that was kind of disheartening, as we do appreciate all colors and creeds who partake in our podcast. With that said, a very sincere, humble apology to Amain Khalif. And as we move forward with the Suplex Sports Podcast, we will do our due diligence and taking our time and making sure all the information is put out appropriately and we can give it to you the right way. Suplex Sports Podcast is your boy Mech. I'll see you soon.
Hey, to whoever may need this nugget of encouragement, things will be alright, so quit your worrying. I get it, the odds seem stacked back against the wall, but even consider it such, know you'll stand tall. Sat and watched from the sidelines one too many times. Wicked games to play make me wanna lose my mind. Found solitude knowing it'll be over soon. Ever need a boost, count on me for the 1-2.
Welcome to the Suplex Sports Podcast. This is your boy Mech, and this is your weekend roundup. We're going to get into it. We're going to do a little bit of suplexing later on, definitely. But we're going to get into it. UFC on ABC 7 was live this weekend from Abu Dhabi in the UAE, United Arab Emirates. Didn't disappoint. I thought, match that I, thought was going to be a banger didn't really end up being a banger, unfortunately. That was with Michael Chiesa versus Tony Ferguson. Tony basically don't look like himself anymore. I thought that he would come out a little bit more Prince Henry Stout, as we would say, in terms of trying to get back into the win column and potentially extending his UFC career and avoiding the dreaded cut, as he has lost about 8 straight fights now, which honestly in the UFC is quite a lot, especially in a row. Seen guys get put out the promotion for at least 4 or 5, but for 8, considering what you've done in promotion, I get it. But Tony Ferguson did not look like himself. He did not look like the Tony Ferguson of old. And Michael Chiesa essentially jumped all over it and pretty much gave me a first round submission, rear naked choke, gave him the yoke. So I think after the match, the bout, Tony said that he would go ahead and contemplate retirement. Take some time off, mull it over. Then again, you can get back in the gym and get back to the drawing board, essentially. But we'll see where it goes. But like I said, I thought it was going to be a banger. First round submission, unfortunately. All right, Mackenzie Dern. She went ahead and fought Lupe Godinez. Well, unanimous decision. Lupe was throwing it. I mean, I was giving it to her. Mackenzie is, pretty tall, I'd say, lanky. But Lupe was getting up in there. She was getting up in there, doing her 1s, 2s, 3s. I mean, had her down at one point. Real entertaining fight. But in the end, Mackenzie Dern with the unanimous decision victory. Also, Joe Alvarez knocked out Elvis Brenner in the round 3 TKO with a brutal knee shot. It happens, my guy. It happens. But Joe, he didn't disappoint. Fights have been pretty steady throughout the whole entire match. I don't want to say it could have went either way, but my man got set up and he got caught. Simple as that. Done deal. Night night. Night night. Also on the card, the main event, Umar Nurmagomedov versus Corey Sandhagen. It was a pretty close fight to me. All 5 rounds in the main event. Ultimately, Umar came away with the unanimous decision victory. I mean, I thought it was a real tight fight. Of course, nothing in the UFC is given, especially, when you got a Corey Sandhagen in the octagon opposing you. But Corey brought his fight he brought his fight. He definitely did. I want to say that some could argue that, Umar squeaked by, but I mean, I think he did enough. He did enough to, I believe, to convince the judges and edge out Corey. But I think Corey goes back to the drawing board, and look forward to seeing him in the next fight as well. Team USA basketball. They've been slaying it. They beat down Puerto Rico, beat down South Sudan again. Right now, they are marching their way into the quarterfinals. So far, they have been cruising through these Olympics. Now comes the knockout round. As tomorrow, 3:30, they go against Brazil. Brazil is a very, very hungry team as well. Do not sleep. Do not sleep on the Brazilians when it comes to basketball. I understand, I know. But Brazil has not medaled in basketball since 1962. Food for thought. They're hungry to get back to that podium. Considering that this is a knockout round, anything could happen. But I do trust my guys out there to go ahead and get it done. Everybody's been pretty much balling for Team USA. I mean, if there's anything lackluster, maybe you can say, maybe Jason Tatum. But at the same time, I mean, everybody's pretty much being utilized in that roster. Joel Embiid, he doesn't look like the Joel Embiid of old, essentially. It could be, because of the different style and the system going into the Olympics with the Team USA basketball program. But, this and NBA season is 2 completely different monsters. As of right now, we are about 6 days away from the closing ceremonies, I believe, of the Olympics. So after this, I'm pretty sure you can go ahead, put them feet up, get some rest, get back in the gym, get back and work, do their thing, and go from there. I'm not going to sit here and criticize Joel. Like I said, I mean, he looks off at times, but I'm just sitting here thinking, you know what, man, it just could be system and adjustment in the short time that you might have to adjust to it. So that's pretty much what it is. Also, this past weekend, Terrence Bud Crawford. Bud went in. He is now the WBA junior middleweight champion. He beat Israel Madrimov by unanimous decision. I thought this was a very, 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 very close fight. I expected Bud to come out with a killer instinct. I mean, Bud's been knocking guys out left and right. I believe like his last, 12 fights or so, I think, has been by way of knockout. So yeah, you going with that expectation when you see Terrence Crawford in the boxing ring. But unfortunately, this went all 12 rounds, and he came away as a new WBA champ. A lot of people, said that, this didn't look like the Terrence Crawford. If he was to go ahead and size up Canelo, that he'd get dusted. So I don't know. I mean, Terrence going up in weight class to potentially have a super fight with Canelo Alvarez. I think it would be a very intriguing fight. But we'll see what happens. I think Bud should probably just stay where he's at for right now and just dominate like he has been. I mean, who's to say, what other super fights that they might that they might have out there for him. And of course, we all know Errol Spence wants another crack at him as well. So, I mean, we'll go ahead and stay tuned to see what's next for Bud. Bud could potentially say that's old news and I'm moving on right now. You know, simple as that. When you're the champ, you're basically in the driver's seat. But we'll see what happens in that regard. Simone Biles. Simone Biles is the most decorated athlete in the United States Olympic history, whereas though she added some more hardware to her resume in the Olympics as is, walking away with 4 medals. 3 gold medals, 1 silver. That 1 silver medal came in the floor routine where she lost out to my homegirl in Brazil. I might be in Rio in November. Nonetheless, Simone Biles is holding it down. Holding it down for the United States, as well as Miss Katie Ledecky, who also walked away with gold, if I'm not mistaken here. 4 straight golds and 800 meter freestyle. Miss Katie Ledecky doing her thing. I mean, you know, the way these people can move in water, man, is an amazing, amazing thing. I know we've always marveled at Michael Phelps, but Katie Ledecky she's holding it down as well. Has held it down for the last few years. And we don't know. We'll see what happens the next 4 years as the Olympics, Summer Games shift to LA. As of right now, with 6 days left in the Olympics, I'm just going to go ahead and give the top gold medal count essentially per country. Right now, United States, we got 20. China's got 21. France has 12 gold medals. Great Britain has 12. And Australia has 13. 6 more days to go on these Olympics. I'm expecting Team USA basketball to go ahead and bring home the bacon as well. Definitely. All right. Getting into the NFL news. Ongoing drama in San Francisco. I mean, Brandon Ayuk still not signed. Rumors swirling about Brandon Ayuk potentially being traded. Teams that have essentially come up in the discussion are the New England Patriots and the Cleveland Browns. Like I said, just rumors from what I've been reading and what's being reported. For me, I don't think Ayuk's going anywhere, man. I think he's staying right there in San Francisco. I just don't think that I don't think a team is going to be willing to potentially give him the deal. San Francisco be potentially willing to give him the deal in general that you know he desires, but I think it'll be enough to compensate a little bit just to get him on the field. If there is a team out there that's willing to, you know, put up a first, second, third round pick on Ayuk, turn around and flip it into a long-term contract deal, and if you got the ends to make the deal, then if it betters your football team, then so be it. He's 25 years old, coming off the best season of his career with 75 catches, well over 1,000 yards, 7 touchdowns. It doesn't get any better than that. He's still young. You know, minor injuries, nagging injuries that he's had over the last few years. But Brandon Ayuk is very, very serviceable, and he is legit number one. And don't blame the man for trying to get paid like one. So, but ultimately, I do see San Fran working some type of a short-term deal out, and then going from there essentially. Also, Harrison Butker got the bag. Yes, the controversial Harrison Butker, the kicker who got liquored up and ran his mouth in front of a packed audience, so to speak. But he essentially got the bag. KC extended him another 4 years, $25.6 million. Harrison Butker's got one of the best legs in the game, hands down. And yes, if I do have the opportunity to get Harrison Butker, he will be on my fantasy team. I'm just saying. A few nagging injuries here in the NFL. Puka Nacua, he's week to week with a knee injury. He suffered in practice as well. They said it's nothing. Just being cautious for the time being. So, they'll expect Puka to be a full go. Also, Panthers rookie wide receiver Xavier Leggett. He's day-to-day as well, as he suffered a leg injury in practice. He's currently day-to-day. X-rays were taken, were said to be negative, but we'll see how the young man progresses as the training camp goes on, and hopefully he gets on the field back soon as Carolina gears up for their upcoming preseason games. The most interesting thing to me so far this NFL offseason has been the Marvin Harrison Jr. situation. Marvin Harrison Jr. is not putting out any jerseys. Not to say that he's putting out any jerseys, but he's in a conflict right now with the NFL. I'm not going to say NFLPA per se, because they're the ones who've issued a letter to the Arizona Cardinals, do not put out any jerseys of Marvin Harrison Jr. It seems though that there's an ongoing conundrum with the lawsuit with Fanatic Sports, which they thought that this was essentially done once he signed his contract. With Fanatics, you merchandising and, signing autographs and trading cards and things of that nature. I guess that comes along with the package. So I think there's still some things that need to be ironed out. But this is actually the first time I can remember this happen in a very long time. In terms of a player, saying, no, I don't want my jersey out, X, Y, and Z. It's a man who's betting on himself. I mean, he's treating himself like a business, and he has every right to. So we see how it all shakes out. I'm pretty sure something will be worked out, and everybody in Arizona who's been clamoring for a Marvin Harrison Jr. jersey will eventually get one. Just don't know when. All right. Also this weekend was the 2024 NFL Hall of Fame. Canton, Ohio. It was a beautiful, beautiful thing. The best thing, probably the most emotional thing, even for me as a football fan, sports fan, wrestling fan, in general, was brotherhood, and not leaving your fallen brother or your down brother behind, and actually getting behind, your bro and surrounding him when he's not his best. Damn near brought a tear to my eye. Steve Mongo McMichael from the legendary Chicago Bears team in the 80s is finally in the NFL Hall of Fame. As some of you may or may not know, Mongo currently is battling ALS, and his former teammates and former Chicago Bears alum and Hall of Famers, they all surrounded him in his home and presented him his Hall of Fame statue right from the comfort of his home. It was probably one of the most beautiful things that I've seen. Definitely, it was unprecedented. And of course, these guys are up there in age, so some of them may be battling health conditions, some aren't, but for them to show that type of love, man, it was a very, very beautiful sight. Indeed. Also, inductees that went into the NFL Hall of Fame was Mr. Patrick Willis, Devin Hester, Julius Peppers, as well as my man Dwight Freeney, Andre Johnson, and Randy Gradishar. Those are your 2024 NFL Hall of Fame inductees. Good weekend indeed. Good weekend for it. Best news of the weekend. My tribal chief is back. Roman Reigns made his long-awaited return at SummerSlam, and it did not disappoint. as my man went in and cocked it back and took out Solo, the impersonator. Beautiful, beautiful things. We're going to get into that with Zay on the wrestling show, because I'm sure he's got a lot to say. He's going to go in deep on that one, definitely. Also, this weekend, related to SummerSlam, my man Dirty Dom, he showed us why he's Dirty Dom, baby. You can call him two-time and call him, you know what I'm saying? He had to, what action was that, I guess, so to speak, as he turned his back on Rhea Ripley for Miss Liv Morgan. Awful how that shook out, but you know, things happen. Can't wait to see what the fallout is after the fact. Definitely. All right, folks, it's now that time. Suplex of the weekend. Who's being suplexed? Me. I'm suplexing myself. I'm suplexing myself for giving out misinformation on the Algerian boxer Main Khalif. Once again, it was not my intention. It was just a whole bunch of things going on that I was reading left and right. And, my eyes deceived me. She has one hell of a right, I will say that much. The way she snapped back off that jab just had me a little like, ooh. So, with that said, I'm suplexing myself for getting it wrong, and humbly apologizing to all of our fans and subscribers, and especially to Miss Amin Khalif directly. All right, everybody, please share, like, and subscribe. We are also on Spotify as well. You can catch all of our older episodes on there as well with Big Unc J Jones. We'll be introducing another Unc coming soon. We call him Ice. Call him Ice because of a finger roll, like George Gervin. I said like George Gervin, not George Gervin, but he had a finger roll like it. Decorated athlete from here in Massachusetts, ICE. We'll be getting him in on the trends game very, very soon. With that said, once again, please share, like, and subscribe. This is the Suplex Sports Podcast. This is your weekend roundup. This is your boy Mish. I'm out.